in story time. So last week, can anyone tell me, this is a harder question than just the sermon title. Can anyone tell me what verses we went through? Take Paul. She said something. Verses. 20, just 20? And above. No, all right. Does anyone got a closer guess? He had some of it. All right, I'll spoil it. It was Mark 4, 1 through 20. So, does anyone remember the whole, what we were talking about? I had a whiteboard out and everything. Does everyone remember the Christmas tree? That was number 3. So you remember what we were talking about? It was about the seeds scattered in different places. Come on, guys. You're making me kind of, yeah. Now it's coming back. You remember there's the path with the bird. There was the rocky place that I signed because I thought it was so good. There was the Christmas tree. And then there was the good soil that said good. Are we back? Are we back? Are we caught up? Is that our recap of the night? Come on, guys. Up here. Come on. Give me something. Come on. Si, senor. Come on. All right, cool. I need this. All right? Cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get on to the next parable. This is the second one. This is shortly after the last one. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you the name of it. It's called the parable of the seed growing secretly. So we're still kind of along that seed kind of train of thought kind of stuff, because that's who Jesus was reaching out to. Jesus was talking to the farmers and stuff, and what they understood was wheat, seed, and water and stuff. So that's what Jesus preached. So we're going to get into this. It's going to be Mark 4, 26 through 29, all right? Does anyone want to blow out their digital Bibles or anything? Listen. Okay. I'm saying listen because I'm going to be reading it. All right, so let's go ahead and read it. He also said, "This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed on the ground night and day. Whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. All by itself, the soil produces grain. First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. As soon as the grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it because the harvest has come." That's pretty good. It's a lot shorter. It's a lot less to work with than last week, but there's still a lot to unpack here if you guys are paying attention. So before we actually get into this, I was reading over it one more time tonight while they were having worship practice, and I was reading over it one more time, and we look at it on 27 and 28. It says, let's read that again, 27, 28, please. Night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows. And this is the part I want you to pay attention to. Though he does not know how. All by itself, the soil produces the grain. First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. So, let's try to break this down. Imagine a farmer just going out to his field and he just throws some seed, walks away. It doesn't matter whether he pays attention to it. It doesn't matter whether he doesn't pay attention to it. It doesn't matter if he even knows how it works. Back then, I don't think they really knew how it worked. They just threw it down and they knew it propped up. So I think it's interesting here that Jesus puts it in here, he includes it, that he does not know how it works, but it still happens. So that's something we need to be taking into our life. Sometimes we don't know what's happening. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing this for or how it happens or how it works, but we know that if we put it in, if we put in the time, if we put in the effort, all that stuff, then something sprouts up, and it's something good if we're sowing the right seed. So let's go ahead and jump in this. You guys are probably wondering what the box is for, right? Or is it just you're used to me bringing weird stuff on stage? I'm used to it, and yet you're still curious? All right? So let's take a guessing game real quick. What do you think this word is? What? Strength? Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty easy. This one. Wraith? Faith? Okay. He said it with 2 F's. Fortnite. All right. So you guys got 3 out of 4 correct pretty much. Pretty proud. You guys would be passing a test at this point. So let's go ahead and jump on this. Can my handyman Jimmy bring out the first letter? Do you remember what the first letter is? It's a bink. All right. Let's see. Any guesses real quick? What's the letter? An R? No. He thought it was. Brother, come on. Length. All right. So let's go ahead and unbox this. Get it? Box? Let's unbox this. It's an unboxing video, guys, of God's word. All right. That's good. Thank you, Jimmy. So let's bust this down first. We got length, all right? So right here we go into the parable, and let's pay attention. How long does this guy spend scattering seed? So he says, a man scatters seed on the ground, and the night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up. So it doesn't say an amount of time. This guy legitimately walked out, took some seed out of his pocket, and went, and walked away and went to go take a fat nap. That's what I would do. But that's the importance here, is he didn't spend a lot of time sowing this seed. And I was talking with Pastor Kelly about this a little bit. And we were talking, and he was like, Eli, you can spend your whole life. It takes a whole life to build up a reputation, but it takes one bad word. It takes one bad action to destroy it. And honestly, that's the truth. You could spend your entire life building up this huge, built up Christian life and all your beliefs and everything, and you're seen as an awesome kid, you're seen as a smart kid and all these things. But if you went off and you had one bad action, that could ruin everything. And that's what I want to talk about length a little bit. Even the smaller moments matter. And that's what I want to kind of go into here, is even these small, tiny moments. And I want to get into this a little bit. I don't know if you guys, this relates with you a little bit. I tried to a little bit. But you guys are scrolling through Instagram or something like that, or Snapchat, and you see something and you like it or you comment on it, and it's something that you shouldn't really be seeing or something you shouldn't really be following, and you like it or you comment and you say something you shouldn't, and you just leave it, and it takes 30 seconds. It takes 10 seconds. Hold on, it takes 3 seconds. Let's be honest. It takes 3 seconds. And that plants a seed. I don't know if you know this, but you're planting seed everywhere you go. When you're on your phone, when you're liking things, you're planting seeds, you're throwing it out, and eventually that seed's gonna grow up. But no matter where you go, talking to people, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. It's a very short moment can change a lifetime. And that's kind of what I want to talk about with length a little bit. Now, just like length, this part of my sermon is very short. So, Jimmy, if you can go ahead and bring out the next letter. A little faster. But anyways, any letter guesses? Importance? That one's the hard one. This is the box we have trouble with. I believe in you, Jim. See, this is why you guys are smart. Because the I is either. Okay. Anyways, so importance. Let's talk about importance a little bit. So right here, the farmer in the parable, he goes out and scatters seed. Now, this is what is important, because farmers and everything in their life, everything they owned came from what they grew. Farmers, you get that, right? Their livelihood, all of their future is their crops. If their crops burn, if their crops don't sprout up, if their crops go bad, they're pretty much out. This is the importance of it, is this seed that you're spreading. And it's just as important in your life. The seed that you're spreading, the seed that you're letting out, whether it's a good seed or bad seed, this is the seed you're going to harvest one day, and it's going to be your livelihood. So, but that's good for an amen, but that's cool. Thanks, guys. You'll be on it? Be on it, bro. You got me. And this is something, actually just a couple Sundays ago, Pastor Kelly said this. Let me quote this at you straight up. You're free to make or escape from decisions, but you are not free to make or escape the consequences. Thanks, Colin. you're on it. But you guys get that, right? You're free to make or escape from a decision. You're free to, yeah, I keep on using this, but I hope you guys don't do this. Like, you're free to you're free to rob a bank. Please don't. But you're free to rob a bank, but you are not free to not get chased by the cops right after. You guys are getting me here? You're free to make that decision, but you can't escape from the consequences. Basically, for the rest of your life, you're going to be running from cops, and that's your fault from your decision. Anyways, don't rob a bank or anyone. Just don't rob things. If your name's Rob, change it. I didn't think that was funny, but thanks. So, I mean, it's the importance, the friends you hang out with, the things you do. There's an importance in all of it, and that's what you need to be seeing. Just like the farmer, he takes an importance of what seed he sows. He takes in when he sows it and where he scatters it. It's all important. Just like the 4 places we talked about. If the farmer spread all of his seed on a path, how's he going to expect this important seed that his livelihood is based upon to sprout up well? You guys get what I'm saying here? You said you were on it, Colin. I'm kidding. So let's go ahead and move on to the next letter. It's Jimmy's time. Jimmy's time to shine. There's only 2 letters to choose from. It's 50-50. Is it? Okay, good. It's good now. Faith. Cool. So we're talking about faith a little bit here. And this is where I kind of broke it down in the very beginning. The man didn't understand everything. The man didn't know how it worked. But he knew when he planted it and he was watching it, that first he would see that breach where the seed came up. And then he saw it start growing kernels. And then he saw like the fruit of all of his labors. So the man didn't know how it works. Back then, they didn't know about the term it germinated. They didn't know about the roots. Like, obviously, they knew about the roots, but they didn't know how everything worked. They didn't know, like, you got to be living next to this far of river, and you got to be making sure you're putting anti-pest spray on it, but not too much because then you'll ruin the crops. Sorry, I'm not a farmer, but this is just things I do know. But it's about the faithfulness because he knew that he needed to trust in God to let it happen. He knew that what the underneath he didn't understand, but he knew if he planted it and he planted it well, then it was going to happen. That's the kind of faith that we need to have in our lives. I talked about this a long time ago, but this is another example. We talked about this a little bit. Did you guys know during the Black Plague, talking about this, 1/3 of Europe going from rats. Oh, a rat. But, the Black Plague, it stumped all of the Englishmen and everyone in Europe that the Jews weren't being contaminated from the Black Plague. And they were wondering what this was. They kind of wrote it off and just called them witches. But what was going on? That's what happened. But what was going on, now that we have science and we know about germs and stuff, what was going on was these Jews had a ceremony that was passed down from them, from their ancestors, that God told them. He said, listen, before every meal, before anything, before you go into the holy place, wash yourselves, bathe yourselves. This is the importance of keeping yourself clean before the Lord. But it was more than just that now they moved on and they went farther into life and they didn't understand what it was anymore. They just knew that they needed to keep themselves clean. Now we have science today and stuff. We understand germs and we know what was keeping those Jews and all those people clean, from the Black Plague, is that they washed their hands before they ate. They didn't know about germs. They didn't know that's what was keeping them from the Black Plague. But because they had faith to trust in what God told them, they survived it from the Black Plague, that is. But moving on. Anyways, sorry, I'm talking about the witches. They called them witches. I'm trying to get that out of my mind. It's bad. But what God told them, and they did faithfully, ultimately saved them from the Black Plague, just because they had faith. So we're going to go ahead and move into the last one real quick. Last letter. Come on. Let's give Jimmy a round of applause for this last letter. What do you guys think this one is? I think it's the one all the way in the back. Don't kick. We spent so much time on those boxes. Oh, what the? No, hold on. Don't show it. Don't show it yet. What letter? You guys think it's an F? Fort? Z4? All right, give it. import. It's E, rated E for everyone. E for effort. So let's talk about this a little bit. It kind of goes along with the importance and length a little bit, but I kind of want to emphasize this a little more. It's the effort you put in. Now, if we look at this man, can you guys tell me how much effort do you think this farmer gave in throwing down his seed? On a scale from what to what? Yeah. Cool. On a scale from what, yeah to yeah, he did a 12. So, yeah, this man, it looks like he gave no effort. He threw some seed down. It didn't matter whether he got up or stayed asleep. It didn't matter whether he knew it or not. It grew. It doesn't sound like a lot of effort to me. So let's talk about this a little bit. Like, it matters about how much effort you give in, but it also matters how little effort you give it. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? Colin, yeah? Thanks, man. So, no matter how big or little the effort you give, it still brings outcomes. And whether little effort brings the good outcomes or a lot of effort gives the good outcomes, effort brings outcomes. And that's important to remember. Now, so this man, yeah, he threw some seed, forgot about it, didn't care about it. Little effort. But because he had faith, because he knew the importance of it, it sprouted up. That he knew he would dig it and he would throw it down and it would sprout up. It didn't matter the effort he gave, because we know that no matter how much effort we give, of course, we give our 100 to God, but no amount of effort we give will ever be able to amount or overcome what God can do, right? But let's talk about this a little bit. Let's imagine this. Let's get in the storyscape right here. Imagine you come to church. Imagine you walk in these doors and you're in here and you're playing around. You're playing 9 Square or something, and you see a new person walk in, and you see them sit down on their phone, and you see them just like kind of ignoring everyone around them. You see like they're looking up every once in a while. They're like darting their eyes around. You've never seen them before. Imagine if you walked up to them and you just said, "Hey, how you doing?" And you shook a hand, you told them your name, you asked them where they're from, and you just say, "Hey, we're playing 9 Square in there if you want to join us." Now imagine if they just went, "Sure." Now they get up and they come and play 9 Square, and they have a great time. They play 9 Square, they talk with everyone, they have a great time. The service starts, the worship. They have someone standing next to them that they're worshiping with. They have someone, and then we move into the sermon, and then they have someone they're sitting next with, and they're having a good time. And then the end of the night happens, and they go home, and they're happy. They're happy that happened. But imagine like their family, like they weren't getting a lot of attention at home. They're not getting a lot of love at home. And they came here, and just from the effort of someone saying hi and inviting them in, imagine they came back again. Imagine they came back the next Wednesday, and it all happened over again. That they had a great time. Someone said hi. Someone shook their hand and invited them to come have fun. Now, imagine they keep on going over and over. And imagine one sermon they decide, "Man, I'm going to give my life over to God, because what's going on here is something that I want to be a part of. I want to feel this love in my daily life to life. I don't want it just to be a Wednesday night. I want it to be a week. I want it to be 2 weeks. I want it to be my life from here on out." And I'll imagine that all sprouted. That seed that was just scattered without little effort. Imagine that seed. Imagine that person making that decision, sprouting up, was the seed that you scattered just on a whim, just to say hi. Tell me, look to your neighbor next to you and say, "Are you..." That was the wrong time. Time was a little off. But look at your friend next to you, look to everyone around you and say, "Are you scattering good seed?" I want someone to say it to Skylar. Good stuff. I like it. We're all inclusive. But the seed you scatter matters. Whether you spend a long time on it or not, whether you take it seriously or not, whether you believe it'll really happen or not, or whether you give it your all or not. the seed you scatter through life matters. You see that? Hold on. L-I-F-E. Woo! Kayshawn had to leave. That was so good. All right. But anyways, I just want to, that's pretty much all of it, but I just want to let you guys know, everything you do has an impact. Whether you put your all into it, whether you don't, the seed you scatter matters, and you got to be scattering good seeds, because one day when it all springs up, when it all is ready, just like it says here, as soon as the grain is ripe, he puts a sickle to it because the harvest has come. So whenever the harvest comes for you, are you going to be able to reap a good harvest?